And now, as always, it's my great privilege and honor to present to you for her State of the State inaugural address, Her Excellency Governor Christine Gregoire.
Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much. Well, first, can I say thank you, Father Michael Ryan, for your beautiful prayer and your blessing. Thank you for all you've meant to our family throughout our lives. And a big thank you to Kate. Kate, I don't know how you score, but that's a 10 in my book. Well done. Thank you. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Justice, and distinguished members of the court, elected officials, legislators, to our former governors and our tribal leaders, and to our local elected officials, to our Consul of the State of Washington, my fellow Washingtonians. Good afternoon. I first want to express my condolences at the passing of Representative Steve Haley of the 9th District. His career ended far too soon for all of us and the people of the state of Washington. I also want to share my personal sadness at the passing last week of Representative Bill Grant. All of us, this chamber, Bill's beloved 16th District, his family, and the people of Washington are the poorer for his loss. He brought to this chamber a sense of bipartisanship, humor, and compassion that we will sorely miss. God bless both of them. I am deeply honored to stand before you in the first moments of my second term as governor of the great state of Washington. I am grateful and I am humbled that the people of Washington have chosen me to lead this state through the most difficult and trying times since maybe the Great Depression. I know all of you in this chamber are honored to be here, and you're ready to take on a crisis the likes of which our generation has never seen, let alone never imagined. All of us, Democrats, Republicans, the newly elected, the seasoned, we have a huge opportunity. It's the opportunity to bring Washington more firmly into the 21st century. For us and for all Washingtonians, there are two words that will define us as we confront the challenge and seize the opportunity. Those two words are courage and generosity. The people of Washington are looking to us to act with remarkable courage. And in turn, I believe Washingtonians will respond with the very personal compassion and generosity for their neighbors. And more than ever, the people of Washington do not want partisan politics. They want us to work together to build a better state for them and for all of our children. So I will challenge all of us today, now and throughout our legislative session, to come together. Let's use this crisis. Let's summon the courage to make the hard decisions. And let's make sure Washington emerges better positioned to create jobs, prepare our kids for the future, and provide affordable health care. Let's make sure we improve our ranking from the third best place in the nation to do business to number one. With me today is my family. First, my husband and my best friend, Mike, who plans to continue his amazing work on behalf of veterans and children's literacy. Thank you, Mike, for all you do for the people of the state of Washington. Our daughter, Courtney, and of course, our brand new son-in-law, Scott Lindsay. And of course, our great daughter, Michelle. to all of my family, and now my extended family, would you all please rise so I can say thank you and these folks can acknowledge your presence here today, please. My family is here not only to share this important day with me, but to remind all of us just what we have at stake this legislative session. And it's the well-being of all Washington's families. Too many of our struggling families are really having trouble putting food on the table and a roof over their heads. They're worried about keeping a job or finding one. They lose sleep wondering if they can save the business where they have poured their sweat and their savings. And last week, Mother Nature laid on another layer of misery, forcing thousands of people from their homes when our rivers rose and our hillsides came down. Our highway transportation system and the commerce depends on it ground to a halt. But it could have been much worse if Washingtonians had not responded so quickly and so wisely to the warnings and evacuated by the hundreds. For that, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to the skilled first responders at the local level, and a big thanks to our state and federal agencies for all they did. Thank you to all who did that. I also want to thank the hundreds of Washingtonians who stepped up to their suffering neighbors and friends. But let us remember, the misery continues, and we're working very hard on the recovery. Last fall, a different kind of storm rolled over the nation's incredibly mismanaged mortgage and credit markets. And that financial storm's now parked over Washington and almost every other state in this nation. And it's raining buckets of hardship for families and businesses. We all have worked to create a world-class education system, affordable, accessible health care, and to rapidly build on our already amazing diverse economy. I promise you we will not forget that work, but today, my friends, our work is more basic and urgent. Our work is to help our families and businesses survive at a time when they're forced to juggle bills, cut back spending, when too many stores, restaurants, and car dealerships are struggling for customers. And last month, 75% more Washington workers filed for unemployment benefits than 1 year ago. We all know our state didn't make this economic crisis, and we all know we can't unilaterally solve it. But we cannot just ride out the hard times and then go back to business as usual. Instead, we must renew hope for Washingtonians who are suffering today and lay for them a platform for a better tomorrow. First, we can and must quickly create new jobs for working families by building roads and schools and creating a green economy for the 21st century, all in partnership with President-elect Barack Obama's American Recovery and Reinvestment Plan. Second, like our struggling families and businesses, we can and we will tighten our belts, balance our budget, and focus on basic needs. The protection of our children, our schools and our colleges, our public safety, our environment, our most needy, and our economy. Third, we won't waste the crisis. We can and we must reform state government. In this moment of clarity, we must grab the opportunity to reform so we can respond to the evolving needs of the 21st century. Fourth, we can and we must approach all of our challenges as a computer engineer might. Let's build a new platform that makes Washington unique, that can support the exciting possibilities of the 21st century rather than the fading possibilities of the past. And finally, this is the time for generosity among all Washingtonians. Real solutions to many of our problems will come from partnerships with our families, our communities, our faith-based organizations, and our service groups. This is our time, a time like no other, our time to show courage, our time to reach across the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, to help our people, our time for all to light the lamp of generosity. we need to look for an example, all we have to do for this can-do spirit is reach back 76 years to an even worse time. It was the Great Depression, a time of breadlines and massive unemployment, despair and hope for a better day. The first thing President Franklin Roosevelt did was get people back to work, and so, by the way, did Governor Clarence Martin right here in Washington State. Indeed, the most visible Northwest project built under Roosevelt's jobs plan was the world-famous Grand Coulee Dam. Tomorrow, I will introduce the Washington Jobs Now plan. Now, it's nowhere near as big as the Grand Coulee Dam project back in the 20th century, but it will leave a legacy of roads, of schools, and green-collar jobs to thrust our state firmly into the 21st century. I urge you to help me do it, and to do so in the first days of this session. This is our moment to act with courage, boldly and urgently, as our president-elect is doing, to speed up the recovery for Washingtonians. We can quickly create thousands of new jobs this year and next by accelerating nearly $1 billion in public works projects. These projects will build those roads and schools and create green-collar jobs to lay more groundwork for the prosperity to come. The time to act is now. My